Anyways, on to the battle, starting with our blue player as is custom. Going to look at the infantry here, and it looks like we're going to have an ample supply of bleak swords. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, with 2 dread swords on one on either flank. We're going to have some dark shards with shields, a popular pick today. And then we're going to be seeing cold one knights, 1 on either flank. We have some dark riders with shields on the the left flank. And then we're going to see Slaaneshi Harvester, ROR, Doomfire Warlocks holding down that center in the rear. Now, for the leadership, since that's all we have left to cover, I'm going to be taking a look here at somebody who I overshot. Oh, also, options, controls. I need to shoot this down again because we crashed, so it reset my settings. All right, now, as far as the Sorceress of Shadows goes, she will be on top of her steed. She will have Penumbral Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, Dark Star Cloak, and Smoke and Mirrors. We also have a Dreadlord with Sword and Shield, and going to be bringing with him, or her, sorry, a Foe Seeker, Strength through Spite, and Shield of Grond. And that rounds out the Dark Elf, so what of the Empire brought to the field? So we have Spearman with shields making up the front line, 5 of them. Going to have 2 Flagellants, 2 Halberds, and then for the skirmishing potential, we're going to be looking at 2 Huntsmen. There's going to be a single unit of silver bullets, so all of these missiles are going to have stock. Going to have 2 great cannons in the rear, providing that artillery support. And then for the mobility skirmishing, we have Pistoliers. Looks like we're going to have a total of 3, 2 on the right flank, 1 on the left flank for the Empire. We're going to be seeing a Light Wizard. This Light Wizard will be bringing Banishment and Net of a Mintok. It's funny, since we were talking about how much people don't bring Banishment when it costs 1 of magic, but this time we're going to see 2, 1 that costs 1 of magic and 1 that does not. Also going to have the Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, Grand Soulfire, Jade Griffin, and Benediction. Now that rounds out both players' armies, and time to see who can pull this off. Pistoliers should have a pretty good time here, since they can fire while moving. The Dark Riders do have shields, lucky for them, so at least they'll have at least somewhat of a chance to block some of these incoming missile fire. I believe it's 33% for the bronze shields. But ouch. Yep, that's the problem. You try to chase these Pistoliers and they just shoot you to pieces. Oh, it looks like he's skipping past him now, and the front lines are coming in for the charges. It doesn't look like the Empire is even counter-charging. A Soul Stealer going down here, catching Volkmar, the Light Wizard, and the Huntsman. Doing some nice damage. Dark Riders with shields are getting into the backlines, but they are wavering, and they're going to rout right when they get into combat with the Huntsman. However, the Slaaneshi Harvesters are looking a lot stronger. Over here, looks like we're going to see a Penumbral Pendulum smashing through the Flagellants. Looks like the Flagellants were able to get forward just barely to avoid the full brunt of the damage. Pistoliers are now getting targeted by Dark Shards with those silver shields. They're not having as easy of a time shooting them down. Banishment going down, and look at this, the cold ones are running into it somewhat. Oh, it's going to run out before it does any damage to them, but yeah, lucky break for the cold ones there. They almost ran right into a lot of damage. Across the battlefield, trying to see what's going on. It does look like the Dark Elves are breaking through the Empire front line, in my opinion. It looks like we have a lot of mobility in the back lines now, routing off Huntsmen and so forth. But you do have the Halberds now shutting down the Slaaneshi Harvesters pretty hardcore. And Net of a Mintok going down on top of the cold ones, who look like they have Flagellants on top of them, and now the Huntsmen are firing away. Silver bullets are shooting down the Slaaneshi Harvesters. They do have 40% physical resistance, so the magical attack from the silver bullets is going to be excellent against them. And right there, barely going to have any time to escape from the Penumbral Pendulum, and the Slaaneshi Harvesters are going to come in and finish them off. Even with a mere 427 HP, they're deadly. Over here, it does appear I missed a Banishment. That may have done a lot of damage based on how many bodies are stacked up right here from the Dark Elves. Right over here, though, you're going to see that the Empire is now routing a lot of these Dark Elf units that have gotten into the back lines. away from the remainder of the Dark Elf army, which is a very nice pickup for the Empire, and I think it's reflecting on the balance of power even up here. Now that we're starting to see the Empire retake control of the battlefield, as the Dark Elves, like I was saying earlier, did cause a lot of chaos in the backlines and got their hands in the cookie jar, but it looks like the Empire was able to successfully repel it in the end with the help of these handy-dandy halberdiers. Over here, cannon looks like it's opening fire on the Dread Sword. Or sorry, the Dreadlord with the sword and shield. There's a net of a Mintok. Cold Ones diving into the great cannons. Don't think they're going to be able to stop that train. Yep, cannon's going to continue to fire away. Cold Ones are dead. Dreadlord still netted in place. Will the cannon be able to kill him, or is he going to escape? Boom, there he goes, knocked off his horse, head into the dirt. Now, balance of power still relatively even, but when you still have Volkmar the Grim here, so healthy, unbreakable, Grand Soulfire smashing down Cold One Knights, I just really struggle to see how the Dark Elves can pull this off. They do still have a very healthy number of Dark Shards with good ammo left, and they could potentially shoot down Volkmar the Grim, but I think he'd have to be quite careless to allow them to do that. But going in this direction is a good way to start it, you know? Yeah, you got to give a respectful distance here. Don't ever just, you know, play it safe. You know, you never know what's going to happen, what your opponent can get going. Over here, a banishment going down, doing a lot of damage to those Dark Shards, though, so a nice play from Volkmar. Dark Shard still firing away, doing a lot of damage, and man, that banishment got a lot of work done. Now the balance power is very much in favor of the Empire. Dark Shard's still going to continue firing away, but as you can see, they're getting chased by these 3 flagellants. They can't handle that pressure. Okay, never mind. Look, Sorceress of Shadows still alive. Penumbral Pendulum still a thing that can happen. Huntsman getting eliminated by the Bleak Swords. There goes the Penumbral Pendulum. And oh, it's going to get him! That did some good damage. That did some good damage. Now you have these Dark Shards going to be shooting them in the back as the Dread Spears come pinning him in place. What are we witnessing here? Can the Dark Elves pull this back, chat? The Sorcerer of Shadows is routing off the Huntsman. Just shattered the Great Cannon. Halberds, one of them's routing. The other one is in a position to get killed with a well-placed volley of crossbow bolts in the back. The 3 flagellants are still coming at him. This is insanity. If the Dark Elves pull this off, I'm going to be mightily impressed. But, I mean, look at it. Volkmar the Grim, he's in range now. And if he's not careful, he can get shot down. I mean, it looks like the flagellants here in the back line are causing some serious trouble. These crossbows are now shooting these halberds. Oh, no. He definitely needs to peel one this way and one this way. He's running them both in the same direction, making it very likely that they both get terror-routed at once. And now Volkmar is in a very strong position to perhaps just keep routing these guys right off the edge of the map. Dark Shards, though, coming in to kill the Light Wizard. They ain't messing around. They'll kill any leader they can get their hands on. And I think the Dark Elves are going to win the infantry engagements across the field with the help of Penumbral Pendulum and just their superior infantry across the board right now. But can they kill Volkmar the Grim is going to be the question. Cold One Knights diving after the Light Wizard. Alright, so they have 2 Dark Shards. Both of them have very little ammo left, so they need to save every last bit of it for Volkmar. Oh, look, there's another one. Actually, high ammunition on that one. So, like, if the Dark Elves can get all of their Dark Shards back, maybe they can pull something out of the bag here. Alright, Bleak Swords coming in. Cold One Knights coming in for a charge while they're unbraced. Flagellants are dead. Halberdiers are going to be dead too as the Bleak Swords get in on top of them after they were disrupted in their formation. Our Sorceress of Shadows is now chasing off the Light Wizard. And just like that, it's going to be Volkmar the Grim versus every other Dark Elf left on the field. And don't worry for him. If anybody can do it, it's this bad boy. He's still healing up. He's unbreakable. He's on a chariot, and he's up against pretty much nothing but infantry. Dark Shards gonna begin opening fire. Looks like he's trying to do some dodging. Ooh, successfully dodging a lot. Oh my goodness, Volkmar. Look at you. You're so fancy. I mean, at that point, you might just want to go in. Those are going to get terror routed right quick. Grand Soulfire going down. Oh! Yeah, I don't think they got a chance here. Oh, and look at that, the Light Wizard. Oh my god, are you kidding me? This guy, he was right here. It was like, whew. I didn't want to go off the white line. Man, that Sorceress must be pissed off when she's going to be pissed off when she realizes that guy came back. But yeah, from this point, looks like a GG. And the Empire is going to win that first round. MaximusDecimus taking a quick 1-0 lead in this best-of-5 final. Enfeebling foe on top of Volkmar. I doubt it will matter, but look at this. There goes some shots into the back of Volkmar. Got Bleak Swords coming in. Dark Shards gonna fire away once again. And so really Volkmar's choice is chase them and get hit by the Sorceress in the back, or face the Sorceress and get shot in the back. Insanity. There's no way this works. Okay, so they're out of ammunition. Everybody's out of ammunition. If you can get one more enfeebling foe popped off very quickly here, maybe, just maybe, but nope, there it goes. A noble effort from the Dark Elves, though. White Line Wizard. Once again, Dark Shards, just look at the value here. So 760 on these guys. 1,800, 2,300, 1,400. It's the age of Dark Shards, everybody. Volkmar, though. 244 kills against Dark Elves is insane. 3,100 value is insane. I mean, really, yeah, Volkmar just fucking led that to victory. Sorry, I need to stop cursing so much. But, yeah, great first game. Not much to say. It was close. But the Empire there with Volkmar were just really, really looking strong. Well, we got ourselves some Stag Knights. But before we get to the Wood Elves, let's cover our red player since it is now round 2. Gonna have 4 Dwarf Warriors. Gonna have the ROR Dwarf Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Single unit of Longbeards. 2 Slayers, one of which will be the Dragonback Slayers. Rangers, Rangers, Correlers, Correlers, Correlers. 3 Correlers, 3 Rangers. We're going to see 2 organ guns. Oh, God bless ya. At 300 range, these guys do outrange all of the Wood Elf ranged power, and they do a ton of damage. So if there's any trees on the field of battle, watch out. So, organ guns, hell yeah. Never get to see those guys. Now, other than that, making sure I'm not missing any Dwarven units. Looks like we've covered them all. We're going to cover the leadership, who is going to be Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, sitting over here in a tree. He's going to have Flash Bomb. Grombrindle has no fear. And that will be it. Ready to chop some Wood Elves to bits. Now, for the Wood Elf army, looking at troop count, you're going to see it significantly smaller than the Dwarf army. By about exactly 400 troops. And it's going to be very much skirmish focused. So, we're going to have 2 Way Watchers on the left flank. In the center, we're going to have Glade Guard with Starfire Shaft across the board. Looks like 5 of them. Or no, and I lied. 1 regular and 4 with Starfire Shafts. We're going to have a Way Stalker over here. Arrow of Kurnos, and the Eye of Kurnos going to be on top of him. We're going to be looking at a Branch Wraith on foot, of course. Penumbral Pendulum, Earthblood, Call of the Wood, and Blessing of the Ancients. And then we do see the Lost Sylvan Knights, ROR, Great Stag Knights. Now, for a little bit more shenanigan, Vanguard action, we're going to be seeing Deepwood Scouts deployed behind the Dwarven lines. Looks like 2 of them. So, very skirmish-focused build going up against the Dwarfs right now, and the Dwarfs have a lot of skirmishing in turn, but they also have that shielded infantry to try to help support them. So, time to see how the organ guns can do, but Arrows of Kurnos are going to go down. Not going to successfully shut down any of the organ guns just yet, though. Organ guns are having a tough time shooting down the Sisters of Twilight. Way Watchers are getting into range now to perhaps snipe one of them down, if I had to guess. Actually, it looks like they're going for the Correlers first. Got to be careful. Correlers do have that bronze shield and 80 armor. I guess the armor doesn't matter against Way Watchers, but the shields certainly do not make them the ideal target. One of the organ guns just losing its first model. What else playing this cautiously? Alright, Rangers making their presence known, opening fire into the Way Watchers with the Correler supporting. Going to get some nice damage there on the trade. But so far the Dwarfs definitely getting the worst of the trades so far. Organ guns continuing to fire away. Ouch. Rangers getting smashed by the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts and the Way Watchers. And so far, fire discipline has been on point. There goes a Penumbral Pendulum on top of the Dwarf Warriors. And it is going to be a direct hit, taking him down half health. Sisters of Twilight continuing to just fire away, hound the Dwarven infantry. Deepwood Scouts getting screened out by the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Over here, oh, Correler's turning around, getting shot by a lot of Glade Guard. Lost Sylvan Knights have come out to start playing. Organ guns are targeting Deepwood Scouts now. Slayers are on top of the Lost Sylvan Knights. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are coming over here. Penumbral Pendulum going through the Rangers once again. And right now the Wood Elf's looking pretty strong. as far as the balance of power goes, and then also just like looking at the damage traded, the dwarfs are really starting to hurt. Cannons, or sorry, the organ guns are actually still okay, are online, 5 models total, but I just worry about the rest of this dwarven army. As you can see, the rangers are pretty much all dealt with. Corlers still hanging in there with their shields. You still have 3 dwarf warriors who are very healthy and have shields, but the ammunition across the board here is still just so high that I have no doubt that the wood elves, if they have enough time, will be able to snipe everything down. Yeah, Sisters of Sisters of Twilight taking this opportunity to dive in on top of one of the organ guns, getting it to rout. That alone making a very big difference in the balance of power. Slayers are now getting targeted by the Deepwood Scouts as they dive in trying to intercept the Sisters of Twilight. And yeah, just looks like the dwarfs are having a really tough time here. Fire damage does not get around physical resistance. Replays Iron Thunder. I mean, alright, let's see what's going on here. Wood Elf Leader. How did I miss that? The Sisters of Twilight just got murdered by the dwarfs. Dragonback Slayers and Dwarf Warriors taking them out. Oh no, the sisters have died. And now Grombrindle, still very healthy. Deepwood Scouts look like they may be in some trouble. Stag Knights, though, still alive and well. Got some of these Dwarf Warriors charging out, getting on top of Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. We'll see how long they can survive, but looks like they're getting shot to pieces. But I don't know, are we going to see a Dowie resurgent after the death of the Sisters of Twilight? Best of 3. Alrighty, so there goes the Dragonback Slayers getting targeted by all of the Starfire Shafts. One thing to point out is they do have good flame resistance, as the Dragonback Slayers, the name may suggest, 22%. So the Starfire Shafts actually do have a little bit of a disadvantage against them, and also the armor piercing is useless because they don't have armor. Alright, Dragon Slayers in combat with these Way Watchers. Balance of power going a lot closer to even now because, I mean, look across the board here. You now see Grombrindle killing off the Branch Wraith. The Sisters of Twilight are dead. And ammunition is not holding up across the board. The other thing to really keep in mind is that the Lost Sylvan Knights, although I think they're going to have a field day for most of this battle, when it comes to Grombrindle, he does magical damage. And magical damage, obviously, is what these guys are weak to. I feel like with every swing, he's going to kill a model. And without the Branch Wraith to heal him up, you know, he might be in trouble. However, looks like the Wood Elves have successfully dealt with all of the Dwarf Warriors that were encroaching on their space. And now the real question is, will they have the chance to snipe down Grombrindle before, you know, the late game? Because if Grombrindle stays full health and everybody runs out of ammunition, I think that's just going to be a dwarf victory, because Grombrindle, I would argue, as being unbreakable, can single-handedly defeat the Lost Sylvan Knights. Sisters of Twilight. Right, balance power back in the Wood Elf favor. Waystalker trying to fight Dwarf Warriors. He doesn't have the best weapon strength, but he does have very good speed at 42, and he's just going to run away from the Dwarfs. Oh, yep, and he's running them back over this way. Oh, these are Longbeards, so Lost Sylvan Knights finding that these Dowie are made of tougher metal. 25% magic resistance, immune to psychology. Ain't gonna be terror routed ever. Alright, single unit of Slayers over here getting charged by the Wood Elves. Trying to be as eliminated as quickly as possible. Slayer going down like a boss, swinging his axes right after his head is removed. Sisters of Why Did You Go on the ground. Arrow Kurnos hitting Grombrindle, but not doing the most. This is insanity. So what do the dwarves have left? Dwarf Warriors or Dragonfire passing these tattered Dwarf Warriors. I think that's pretty much it. Alright, looks like these Blade Guard with Starfire Shafts did just commit to the combat. So the dwarfs may be able to pick up a little bit of color in the balance of power with that elimination, but I don't know. Things aren't looking the best for the dwarves right now. Smoke bomb going down, slowing all of these Glade Guard down, allowing the Dwarf Warriors and Grombrindle to stay on top of them. I like that the dwarfs are pouring every last bit of ammunition they have into Grombrindle. I think he is, you know, the deciding factor here. He's the linchpin for the dwarf victory. If Grombrindle, at this point, should turn around and charge the Lost Sylvan Knights. And it looks like he's going to go do just that. Terror Route kicking in on top of the Dwarf Warriors. Looks like he's waiting to pop. Grombrindle has no fear. The Dwarf Warriors getting targeted by all of this missile fire. It's doing a lot of work. And Talcore just taking his time. There goes Grombrindle has no fear. Unbreakable, plus 24 melee defense to every unit on the map for the dwarfs, which in this case is 3. Oh, nope, I lied. There's some Longbeards over there. But looks like the Wood Elves have maybe just enough ammunition left to snipe down Grombrindle. I honestly don't know, guys. This fight has been ridiculously close no matter how you cut it, but just think the numbers here are going to work out for the Wood Elves in the end. Oh no, the Branch Wraith got into combat. Branch Wraith routing. Grombrindle just continuing to swing his axe. Reminding everybody why he is a dwarf of legend. Brindle, you're a badass. Nobody can deny that. Doesn't look like you're gonna win today. Although he's not gonna go down without drawing some more blood, as the Waystalker is also going to start routing. As Grombrindle just continues to cleave his way through these Wood Elves. What is happening? Oh, they're gonna shoot him. Oh, fire and a miss. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, the heads are quite literally rolling, but Grombrindle has gone down. His axe flying into the air. And yeah, Grom is basically Sauron. Yeah, Stag Knights are big boys, and they got some good value there. Paying for themselves and then some. Way Watchers doing well. I mean, he played that very well. No getting around it. The full kite build did work. He lost the Sisters of Twilight and was still able to pull it off, so well played to him. Reflex, thank you for the follow, my friend. Grombrindle also getting a ton of value for himself. Slayer's doing alright. But honestly, it just seemed like the Organ Guns didn't really pay off. I would have liked to have seen them targeting the Glade Guard earlier on rather than the Sisters of Twilight, because the Sisters of Twilight are a pain in the ass to shoot down. And they also have that really huge heal once you get them below a certain threshold. But yeah, a great second game, and look at that. Tied up, ladies and gentlemen, 1-1 in this best-of-5 final for the Season 3 playoffs. Now, both players clearly want this, and it's time to see what happens in round 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Starting with our blue player for round 3. And we're going to see a lot of infantry. Now, Chaos Marauders, chosen with great weapons, given 9 chevrons. Talk about expensive. Got Mirror Guard, ROR Chaos Warriors, the Demon Spew Forsaken, ROR Forsaken. We have a second unit of generic Forsaken, and then we have a unit of Chaos Marauders. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We have the Word Spawn in the mix as well. We're going to have Sartorial, the Everwatcher. Sartorial is going to be bringing Standard Eye, Arcane Conduit, Final Transmutation, and Plague of Rust with Metal Shifting. Now, other than this, we have the Mobility, which is going to be 4 Marauder Horsemen. Oh, make that 2 Horse Masters and 2 Horsemen. And then we're going to have 2 Chaos Warhounds with Poison. So that is Chaos. A very, very interesting army, I have to say. I'm excited to see what happens here. These chosen with great weapons, rank 9 chevrons, I'll be keeping a very close eye on. Like Emperor Palpatine did to Anakin. Anyways, we have 3 units of Goblin Wolf Rider Archers and a 4th being the Mogrim's Magi Marauders. Regiment of Renown, these guys do have immune to psychology and deal armor-piercing missile damage. Going to have 1, 2, 3 units of generic Gobos for that front line. Got 2 Black Orcs backing them up. And then, of course, the Unbreakable... Nope, this isn't the Elite Loonies. This is the Warlord's Boys. The ROR Night Goblins, not Night Goblin Fanatics, and they do armor sundering damage. Now, other than this, we're going to have the Rusty Heirs. The Rusty Errors are going to be bringing Armor Sundering as well, and then we have a regular unit of Night Goblin Archers. Both units do poison damage, so keep that in mind. We have the Arachnarok Queen in the center. We have a Night Goblin Shaman. Wait a minute. I think that's Gork'll Fix-It, right? Gork'll Fix-It, as well as Vindictive Glare. And then last but never least, we have the River Troll Hag with Spirit Leech, Mither, Power Stone, and the Overwhelming Odor. But then we have Grom the Paunch, the Lucky Banner, and the Language of the Boys. And talk about belly button piercings. This guy decided to get 4 of them because he has 4 belly buttons. He's just that big. That paunch is just so round. Way to be. Oh, yeah, give him that turkey leg. Nom, nom, eat the whole bone. Don't even chew it, you fat bastard. Now, here we go. Looks like both players just ready for a frontal engagement. Not messing around. Chaos does have one of their Warhounds sneakily deployed in the rear. I don't think he realizes they are not hidden, though, even though they're in the woods. We'll see if the Greenskins even notice. Looks like so far they're reacting as if they do not. Alright, Chaos going to clog the gap by the looks of it. With only 2 Black Orcs, I think Chaos surprisingly does have a chance to win this frontline engagement. As long as the Chosen get a clean engagement with one of the Black Orcs, because Chosen with 9 ranks, I feel like will win against Black Orcs. But that's in a vacuum, so it really has to do with what everything else on the field is doing while that engagement is going on. Over here, see the Chaos Warhounds with Poison pushing forward, or I guess pushing into the back lines, and it looks like they're going after the Rusty Airs now. I lied, they're going after the regular Night Goblin Archers. Sartorial is charging forward, and he's going to start doing what he does best, which is create havoc, fly around the battlefield with an awesome charge animation, and dish out terror where he can. Over here you see Forsaken smashing through the goblins. They are tailor-made to just smash goblins without any contest. And now suddenly the Greenskins do have a significant problem in the fact that their frontline engagement has a hole on their left flank, the Chaos right flank, that can now be exploited by the Chaos forces. Over here, Final Transmutation upgraded going down, hitting the Night Goblin Shaman, hitting the Black Orcs, hitting the River Troll Hag, hitting the Warlord's Boys, and all of the Chaos in that center. I mean, all of the Greenskins in that central engagement are routing with the exception of the Black Orcs, and it looks like they may soon follow. So in the back lines now, you see the Marauder Horsemasters just pushing forward, shutting down the Goblin Archers and chasing down all of these Goblin Wolf Rider Archers too. And the Greenskins are suddenly on their heels. Grom the Paunch is taking a lot of damage in combat that I honestly didn't even see happening. The Chaos Chosen Warriors going against the Black Orcs seem to be winning there so far, an even trade, but now we have Marauders blobbing in there too, and that should definitely change which direction that engagement is going. The Greenskin Skirmishers still somewhat around and firing in, doing some nice supporting fire into these Chaos Marauders who went into the back of the Black Orcs. But now in come the Word Spawn, going to be hitting the Black Orcs from the side, pinning Grom the Paunch in place. And before we know it, who knows, maybe another Final Transmutation in another 40 seconds or so, maybe going down on top of Grom the Paunch and these remaining Black Orcs. But the balance of power is heavily in favor of the Warriors of Chaos right now. Oh, Optimus Pine, you smart ass. But yeah, I mean, I think we can call it here. It does look very much like Talcore and the Warriors of Chaos are going to pull out this victory. Yeah, Grom the Paunch, routing, Black Orcs, routing. Spider Queen is back here unsupported. Black Orcs are routing away from her. That's going to be a concession for MaximusDecimus. And the win will go to VM Talcore, who is now taking a 2-1 lead in this best of 3 series. So he will be on match point going into round 3. Yeah, it's Screaming Shoot Me, but fortunately for the Forces of Chaos, that 9 Chevron Chosen didn't get shot to pieces. There really wasn't anything there to shoot them to pieces. One v one Chosen beat Black Orcs 3 to 2 times. Yeah, Cheesex, I still don't think Chaos counters Greenskins. I think this Greenskin army's had some pretty big problems. Yeah, 8 Peak Loonies instead of the the Warlords boys, no doubt. I think they went overboard with the Goblin Wolf Rider archers. When against Chaos, I don't find them to be the most useful. I think you can ditch this Night Goblin Archer Fanatic and just stick with the Rusty Airs. And then I think with the extra money, you need to... There's Stone Trolls, which are great to help counter Sartorial. On top of that, Trolls would be an excellent counter to Chosen with great weapons, Forsaken, things like that, because they do a ton of damage every generation. ROR Spider does cost a ton. I could see it being viable against Chaos, honestly. A lot of good summons from it, great armored, so unless they're bringing, throwing axes, it can resist a lot of the small arms fire here from the Marauder Horsemen and Horsemasters. But there's just some other choices in this army that I didn't really agree with. So yeah, I think with some changes that would have been much easier executed. And then, yeah, when it came to this Chaos army, I like it. I think it's a cool army. But I still don't think Chaos counters Greenskins at all. Giant Spider, just not the ROR. That's a fair strat. But yeah, great game. And look at that, Talcore up on match point. It's all just a big trick. There's no river on this map. All right, I digress. So, what round is it? Round 4. So it is a red player's turn. Let's take a look at MaximusDecimus' army. He is our red player with the Lizardmen, and he is fighting for his life to stay in these finals. We got Sora Spears with shields. Looks like 4 of them up front, and we're going to have a 5th one in the back there. Got the cohort of Sotek ROR, Unbreakable Red-Crested Skinks. Going to have 2 Bastillodons with solar engines to blast away the Bretonnian Knights. We're going to have 4 Pterodon Riders up in the air. Their bombs are devastating as hell, and they can chase off routing units, which is invaluable, of course. Then we're going to see a single unit of Skink cohort over here in the woods, hidden away on the left flank. And for the leader, we're going to, or leaders, I should say, we're going to have a Skink Priest of Beasts with the Manticore Summon and Flock of Doom. We are going to have a Sora Scar Veteran just sitting in a bush here. He's going to have nothing but cold-blooded, and then we're going to have Krokgar, who is just ready to go to town. He does have the Hand of God, and he is going to just be on foot. So, should be a tough lord for the Bretonnians to deal with. And this is a very different-looking Lizardman army than I am used to seeing against the Bretonnians, so we'll see how it fares. Over here for the Bretonnians, we're going to have 2 Trebuchets in the back line for some artillery support. We'll see who comes out on top between them and the Bastillodons. Going to have 5 Peasant Mob up front, something you see quite often. We're then going to see a very high number of Peasant Bowmen. It looks like it's going to be alternating Pox Arrows and Peasant Bowmen. Wait. So, 2, 3... 4 Pox Arrows and 2 regular Peasant Bowmen. We are then going to be seeing for the cavalry, it looks like 2 questing knights on the left flank and another 2 questing knights on the right flank. Up in the air, we are going to have 2 paladins on Pegasus. One is going to have the charm shield and the other is going to have the charm shield, and that will be it. And then for the leader, the ever lovely Fey Enchantress. She is riding her unicorn Silverin into the battlefield, and she will be bringing Arcane Conduit, Regrowth, Earthblood, Awakening of the Wood, Mist of the Lady, and Lifeblood, or Lifebloom. And so here we go, looking at the troop counts. Going to be seeing that the Bretonnians nearly outnumber the Lizardmen nearly 2-1. But obviously, numbers aren't everything, and these Saurus warriors are going to have no problems with a bunch of peasant mob. Trebuchets are opening fire. Looks like the solar engines are shooting. I can't tell if they're shooting at questing knights or peasant bowmen. Either way, either of those targets I would be fine with. Alright, Sword Spears are trying to close the gap. They do have those shields, which will help a lot against the peasant bowmen, but only so much. Questing Knight coming out and hitting the Skink cohort very hard. Skink cohort aren't going to stand a snowball's chance in hell against them, and it doesn't look like anything's going to come over to support them. Meanwhile, in the frontline engagements, one of these Sword Spears already really taking a lot of damage, down nearly half health, below half health now. Pterodon Riders aren't playing it too aggressively so far. Looks like they're pushing out finally, and you know, these guys really need to get their bombs off if they want to make a difference. Saurus Spears, about to get rear charged, but then it looks like the animation was interrupted somewhat. Now the Questing Knight's getting the attack order once again to go in for the Saurus Spears, but man, Saurus Spears just not holding up the best under those Questing Knight charges. And you got to remember that the Questing Knights with that armor piercing are just such heavy hitters, whereas the Saurus Spears don't have too much armor piercing to speak of, so they're not going to be the best suited to taking out Questing Knights, in my opinion. Over here, Questing Knights and the Paladin coming over here, hitting the Pterodon Riders who are on top of the Trebuchets. And Bretonnia looking pretty strong so far. Lizardmen still have their Bastillodon Solar Engines, and their Hero Squad is untouched. Over here, Krokar actually in combat with Questing Knights. May not be the combat that Krokar just wants to be stuck in for a prolonged period of time. These great swords do quite a lot of damage to him, and they actually have pretty good defensive stats all the way up at 37. So Krokar desperately needs some support. I would almost turn around the Solar Engines and just give these guys a good spanking really quick. Just blast off a couple of rounds in them, and that should turn the combat in favor of Krokar, but I almost think our Lizardman player may have forgotten and doesn't realize Krokar is back there getting killed right now by the Questing Knights. Over here, we're going to see Pterodon Riders in combat with some Peasant Bowmen. Questing Knights coming in to charge them down and try and eliminate them from the field. Solar Engines are continuing to fire away. Will they get enough damage done in time, though? Back here, look at this. Just want to check in at Krokar again. He's getting a lot of damage done, but you can see his leadership is about to break. And as soon as his leadership breaks, then the Questing Knights have him dead to rights. He's not going to stop routing unless they stop chasing him for some reason. All right, Paladin coming out here to help finish off Krokar, just in case the Questing Knights can't. And if Krokar goes down, I'm really worried about the Lizardman chances, but I guess maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on him. You still have a Saurus Scarvet over here with 2 Bastillodons Solar Engines. Have we seen the Manticore summons coming down yet? I don't think we've seen both of them, just this one. Paladin coming in, and now Krokar suddenly in a bad spot. Balance of power is gone to the Lizardmen, though. Looks like we have another Manticore summon coming in. And that's going to help the balance of power once again for the Lizardmen. But oh no, the double Paladin and the Questing Knights have shut down this Bastillodon with the Solar Engine. And so in spite of the balance of power being very much in favor, or not very much, but being in favor of the Lizardmen, now the Paladins have eliminated one of the Solar Engine, and that's one of the key units here. They also still have plenty of Peasant Bowmen. They have Field Trebuchet online. And I think the thing is, the Bretonnians are very much spread out across the battlefield here, but it's kind of playing to their advantage. But, you know, who knows? Right now we see Sora Spears in the back lines, shutting down one of the Trebuchets. Should be able to shut down the other one quite easily. Over here, these Sora Spears, though, getting shut down by some Peasant Bowmen, Peasant Mob coming in for a rear charge. It looks like their leadership is holding together, though, so maybe they will survive that engagement. Pterodon Riders can get re-engaged here. They're regrouped. Their leadership isn't bad, and it looks like they've been microed now. Over here, this Trebuchet going to go down to the Sora Spears, not before it throws off another volley of rocks into some Pterodons. Over here, going to see the Fey Enchantress, the two Paladins, duking it out with the Feral Manticore summoned, Bastillodon Solar Engine, some Sora Spears, but the Sora Scarvet is holding up for himself. He is giving a good account for himself. And now we have Questing Knights in the Fey diving back into the fight, and we're going to see an Earthblood, and don't forget that this Feral Manticore is summoned and will be timing out here in just a moment. So without that Manticore, it's going to be a much tougher thing for the Bretonian, or sorry, for the Lizardmen to get through here. But as I say that, one of the Paladins just terror routed, and now is actually just routing. Oh, he's going to be able to get back up in the air, though. Oh, a nice shot, staggering him from the Bastillodon, but now he is up in the air. Can the Bretonians do this? I mean, just like that, actually, the Lizardmen have pretty much cleaned up the rest of the Bretonian units on the field. Look at that. They're nearly within 100 models of each other now. These Peasant Bowmen, though, eliminating the Pterodons. They may be able to eliminate the cohort of Sotek if they start shooting them right now, immediately. That cohort's taking a ton of damage. Nope, there they go. Peasant Bowman now in combat with the red-crested skinks. Paladins chasing off a shattered Pterodon. Questing Knights chasing off this Bastillodon with Solar Engine. Over here, the Lizardmen regrouping. Oh man, they still have a full health source spear. Just park the Bastillodon with the Solar Engine on top of that, and the Paladins will have a hard time, especially when you have a Sora Scarvet in the field too. Over here, Skink, Priest, Beast, and the cohort of Sotek running back to regroup. Peasant Bowmen look like they're going to have Pterodon Riders on top of them in just a second. Probably a bomb going to be coming in. No, they're going into melee combat. And just like that, Peasant Bowmen going to be wavering, potentially routing. Yep, there they go. There goes the Peasant Mob second. Paladins are en route, though. Fey Enchantress is still alive. Paladins are still alive. Bretonia's chances are still alive, but they are growing narrower. Fey Enchantress going right into the cohort of Sotek. They're going to pull off Refuse to Die. And so they're going to be down to 150 HP, but still have 15 models. It's 77 HP, 15 models. 56. Pretty soon each one of these models is going to have 1 HP. Alright. Awakening of the Wood going down just in the nick of time, because that speed debuff may be the only chance the Fae has, but right now, look, she's getting staggered, she's getting blocked by infantry models, and will she be able to get out of here? Oh, there goes her opportunity. Oh no, the Paladin diving into combat, and he just committed suicide. If the Lizardmen play this right, that Paladin is dead. Dead, 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 dead. Or is he going to be able to get out of here? Paladins are notoriously slippery, but there's a lot of lizardmen around him. There goes a terror route. Fey Enchantress trying to get into combat here with some Sora Spears. And yeah, just like that, the lizardmen looking really strong now. Paladin just doesn't look like he has a snowball's chance in hell of getting out of here. It's like, excuse me, would you just mind letting me move really quick? Really quick. Oh, Awakening of the Wood going down. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough to get him out of there, though. The Enchantress trying to mortise these guys down, but leadership is going to hold, and Bretonia will fall to the Lizardmen of Lustria. He had Flock of Doom and the summon. So, just like that, the Lizardmen keeping their head and fighting to stay alive here. And I mean, honestly, not a lot to say. It was a close game. I think Bretonia looked really strong there in the early game and into the early mid game, but then just slowly started losing its edge as the battle wore on, and the Lizardmen just continued dragging everything down. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is round 5, and as such we are going over our blue army first. For our blue player, Talcore, he's going to be bringing 3 units of Rangers and 2 units of Spearmen, by the looks of it. We're then going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Archers. Those blue lines no longer correlate to where they are. We're going to have a single unit of Valyrian Reavers on the right flank, accompanied by the Fireborn. These Dragon Princes dish a ton of damage, have a bonus versus large, and as you can see, quite apparently, do fire damage. On the left flank, we're going to have a unit of Dragon Princes, accompanied by a second unit of Dragon Princes, bringing it to a total of 3 Dragon Princes and 1 Valyrian Reaver. Now, up in the air, supporting this army, we are going to be looking at Alariel the Radiant, Star of Averlorn, Arcane Conduit. We have Tempest, we have Shieldstone of Isha, and the Boon of Isha. Or sorry, Shield of Sapphire and the Boon of Isha, along with Earthblood. Alright, that's going to round out the Wood Elf, or the High Elf army. And what did you know? Don't you know it, guys? MaximusDecimus once again going for the full Vanguard. This time against the High Elves, and our Wood Elf player is going to have his army back here. So let's take a look at it, shall we? Going to have Dryads, 1, 2, 3, and 4 crammed back here. Like, no joke, these guys are crammed. We're going to have Glade Riders with spears, 1, 2 of them. It looks like we have Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. So these are the Archer variant of Glade Riders. We're going to be seeing the Wardens of Sithral, ROR Wildwood Rangers. We're then going to be seeing Deepwood Scouts, 1, 2, and 3. Aside from that, we have some Glade Rider Spears, which I think I already said. We're then going to have Orion and his wife Ariel. Now, Ariel will have Berry Wine, Acorn of the Ancients, Soul Stealer, Apotheosis, Greater Arcane Conduit, all that stuff. We have Orion with the Hawk's Talon and the Hounds of Orion, Foe Seeker, and I think the Shield of Isha. But man, wow, would you look at this, guys. Another full Vanguard deployment from our Wood Elf player. And the High Elves seem to be oblivious. And they're going to want to be careful. Because the one thing is clear here is that the High Elves aren't necessarily prepared for a quick reaction to a rear charge. They have a lot of archers in the back line, And I doubt he was watching the battles earlier in the stream today because he was too busy playing. So he may not be familiar with the fact that he's up against a known Vanguard deployer. Although it looks like he's maybe catching on to it. I'm not sure if one of these units became visible for a moment or what may have happened, but it looks like he's caught on, and the High Elves are actually turning around from the outlines of the formations here. It looks like it's going to be Ranger, Spearman, Ranger, Spearman, Ranger. So I think he's aware that they are over here in the forest now, and it looks like Alariel the Radiant is going out here to do a little bit of skirmishing, and oh no, Deepwood Scouts are actually firing away. So the High Elves catching on, and we will see if they can react and adapt to this Wood Elf army coming from behind them. I also don't like that he's in the forest. I kind of want to see him pull back out of the forest here. General rule of thumb, you don't want to fight the Wood Elves in the forest. Alright, Rangers, Spearmen, everybody diving in against Dryads. Oh no, these Rangers not getting a charge off against the Dryads over here. They are. Looks like we're seeing the Fireborn do some good damage. They're going to pull back. Hounds of Orion doing some nice damage. Terror kicking in on the Spearmen. And now the Fireborn are pulling back out for their life. Over here, Hawk's Talon coming in. Perhaps even doing some friendly fire. But this is just going to be a battle of madness as both players have just committed everything to the front lines. Looks like the Wood Elves are going to come out on top in the front line engagement so far. But then in the back lines, we're seeing Illyrian Reavers diving in, trying to shut down all these Deepwood Scouts, getting quickly terror-routed by Orion and Ariel. The Dragon Prince is over here doing a bit better. Star of Averlorn going down, hitting the Rangers, the Spearmen, and the Dragonborn, or Dragon Princes. High Elf Archers, I think, need to pull out into the open. I think the High Elves in general just need to pull out into the open right now. They're not in the best place as of now, and you see all these Wood Elf have the Glade Riders and Glade Riders with Hagbane tips in reserve, just kind of like waiting for the right moment to come out, and now is that moment. And I think the Wood Elves smell blood in the water. The High Elves are hurt right now, and they have a lot of archers who are suddenly going to be unprotected because the front line is completely disappeared and the Dragon Princes can't tie everything up at once. So here it comes. Glade Riders with shields, or spears, coming out from the back lines, getting on top of all of these High Elf Archers, and that is going to be a rough thing to recover from. Over here, you see some tattered Spearmen and Alariel coming in to try to counter that play from the Wood Elves, but across the board, it just looks like it may be too little too late. The balance of power is really going against the the High Elves right now, but maybe I'm being too doom and gloom. Dragon Prince is back here. You see the Fireborn, you see the Illyrian Reavers, you see some more Dragon Princes getting some good damage and getting on top of the Deepwood Scouts. Hounds of Orion, that cast not doing as much damage as the first one did. And, you are seeing at least a lot of good damage on top of the Wood Elves here in the back line, shutting down those Deepwood Scouts for a bit. Over here, I think the Dragon Princes, though, need to pull out of the combat, get over here, and shut down all of these Glade Riders with spears. They can absolutely crush them, no doubt about it. And I'm just very confused why the High Elves did not take the opportunity when they recognized what was going on to just pull back completely out here into the open, maybe even anchor their flank on that rock formation, and then just like wait for the Wood Elves to come to them, fire away. But I think this forest engagement has really played to MaximusDecimus' advantage, and he is now capitalizing on that, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a Wood Elf victory here in the final match of the season. Soulstealer going down, catching a few High Elf units. Balance of power really starting to shift against the High Elves right now. Fireborn diving into the Glade Riders with spears. There goes another Star of Averlorn, hitting these Fireborn, doing a lot of healing, and on top of Alariel as well. Dragon Princes killing off Deepwood Scouts. Alariel coming out and attacking Orion with the Fireborn right now. She's actually doing a surprising amount of damage, but Orion is a tough bastard. Causes terror. He himself is unbreakable. And it looks like the army losses are going to be kicking in. And what a beautiful best-of-5 match between these two excellent players. MaximusDecimus bringing it back and winning in a 3-2 fashion. Huge shout-out to VM Talcore for some beautiful games. And a huge congratulations to MaximusDecimus for winning the Season 3 playoffs of the Fresh Recruit League. Fighting in the Forest really was, I think, the game-defining decision of that battle, where it's just like, as soon as he chose to get engagements in the Forest, it's bad news bears. The Wood Elves get those bonuses in the Forest. You cannot underestimate them in the Forest. And I think it also just confuses the efforts, you know, like cavalry from the High Elves doesn't want to be fighting in the Forest. They get caught on trees. The Wood Elves don't. So it's just, yeah. He had the firepower. If he would have just turned around, pulled out into the open field, I think the High Elves would have had a really good chance of defeating that army. But I think, not to beat a dead horse, fighting that battle in the Forest was playing into the hands of what the Wood Elves wanted. And you can never do that. You always want to do your best to just do the opposite of what you think your opponent wants you to do, as long as it's within reason. So, great games across the board. Talcore, awesome work, man. Congrats on getting second place. You still get that gift card, so don't be too worried about it, my friend. You're still getting $25 and $60 going to our first place winner here, XMT MaximusDecimus. So let's go give him some congrats in the chat. So yeah, great games to both of these players. Awesome season. Thank you guys all so much for supporting this, for tuning in, for recommending the Fresh Recruit League to your friends, for getting more people involved in the scene. This is a wonderful game, and it deserves to grow more and more and more and more. And we got the World Cup coming up and more things from there. So things are looking good.